welcome to my next pregnancy update. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Sherry and I'm an American living in Vienna, Austria, and I am documenting my first pregnancy with my husband, who is Austrian. My first pregnancy in general, but also my first pregnancy with him. And I try to do my updates weekly, mostly bi-weekly. And unfortunately, again, this is another 3-week update. And that's mostly because of 2 reasons. One, because I've been really busy because I was finishing my last weeks at work before maternity leave. And secondly, because I am new to YouTubing and recording videos and I had run out of space on my computer. So I had to get my IT guy at my work to help me take Microsoft Outlook off of my computer, and then that saved a bunch of room, and then so now I have more space. So now that I'm on maternity leave, I think that it'll be a lot easier to do these updates. I have a lot more free time. Maybe a little too much, but I'll talk about that in a bit. So to start off, this will be a video then about weeks 30, 31, and 32. And I'll include some pictures just because I know bump dates are nice and I appreciate them on other people's pages, and that's why I feel the most guilty, is because number one, this is a place for me to document my pregnancy for friends and family in America, and I like to have, often videos for people to look at, and also because I find these videos so helpful for myself, and my favorite ones are the ones that are weekly, so that every week I can look up new videos and watch them. I will do that today because today is week 33, 0 days. So I appreciate it so much. I like seeing the bumps. I like hearing about the symptoms. And so I want to do that for other people. So I will do a much better job, and I'm going to try to do weekly videos from here on out. So jumping in and getting started, week 30 of pregnancy. Where I left off was that I had a couple weeks left of work. Belly was getting bigger. I had some appointments coming up, and so that's where we are now. So at week 30, it was my second to last week of work. And these were really busy weeks because I had someone replacing me. I'm the financial manager at an international association. So I work in English in Vienna. And we hired someone new, and I am the only person responsible for finances there. So it was a lot of work to transition. I had been there for 2.5 years, and yeah, it's kind of like doing 2 jobs because I was doing my job every day and also then training the new person, and she's really great and she'll do a great job. But it was just really long days trying to get everything done. So work was busy, and I think that like really correlates with how I'm feeling in the pregnancy, because busy days just kind of always leave me really run down. I think this is also the last week that my husband was in his course, because my husband's been taking an extra course towards his master's degree. And he was in class then Monday through Thursday until 10 o'clock at night, and then on Friday and Saturday, Friday until like 9, and Saturday from 8 to 5. So basically he was just really busy. And I think that the timing was actually really fine, because this was a part of my pregnancy where it was actually just kind of nice for me to come home, make something super healthy, because he's a little less healthy than I am. And I'm a vegetarian, and so I could make something specifically for myself and make a lot of zoodles and eat in bed and fall asleep and watch something gallish that I enjoy, TV show or something. And then he would come home around 9 or 10, and then we would chat for a bit, and then I'd fall asleep. So this was the last week that he had his class. I worked out pretty well that week. My husband had gotten me this this little stepper machine, which was a really good balance for exercise, I think, because I have a tendency to overdo it a bit, because when I'm not pregnant, I'm really into working out. Every other day I would usually run 3 miles in the morning before work, and then I would try to do weights and sometimes extra stuff. And so at the beginning of my pregnancy, I was a bit nauseous. In the second trimester, I was able to run again, and then in the third trimester, I was trying to find that balance. And also, too, it's the winter in Vienna, so I'm from the Northeast in America, so it's pretty similar, but actually the days are a little bit shorter still in the winter, so the sun doesn't come out until 8, and it goes away by 4 in really like the winter months. And so these weeks were all in January, and it was dark and cold. So in the morning I couldn't really get out for a walk. So then I got the stepper machine, and so I would do the stepper, most days, and then I would add usually weights 2 days a week, just like arm stuff and squats and things like this. So that was a really good week for working out. I think my sleep started to decline a bit. So as I've talked about throughout my videos, I had a lot of pregnancy insomnia well into my second trimester, and then I got a little bit better. And now it's slipping away again, but that's okay because I will be well trained for when baby is here, and she will keep me company at night. I'm sure the insomnia will go away and I will love to sleep, but I won't be able to do that either. I'm well trained though, so we can watch Netflix and Amazon Prime together while I breastfeed. And then I think in this week also too, my stomach started to get a little upset as far as pregnancy symptoms. I think that she always has been seeming to be doing things with my intestines and my colon throughout the pregnancy. And so this was resulting in just like some stomach aches. Maybe too, it's just because I'm running out of space. I've heard that happens to people as well. So some stomach issues. In the 30th week, the only other thing is that we did some home renovations. We've been doing home renovations quite a bit in the last weeks and last months, preparing for baby girl, and mostly, kind of just lit a little bit of a fire under our butts to fix some other things in the apartment. And because the baby's room was a room with just our closets in it. Again, in Austria, we don't have built-in closets, so we kind of had just a separate room for our closets. So then we got rid of the old closets, we ordered new closets to go into our bedroom, and then we ordered all the baby furniture. And then in the process, we decided we wanted to paint the walls, we wanted to replace the glass in our windows, and so all the glass in the windows are replaced. And on the 30th week, we had painters come and paint our bedroom and the baby's room. So the baby's room is now light purple, because she's gonna have purple everything. And our bedroom is light blue. The colors look really, really nice. I think that maybe next week or the week after, probably the week after, maybe I'll record my videos from there on in the baby's room so I can give like an update on how it looks. But we're currently waiting on baby furniture, so there's not much to see there now. And because my husband and I are at a point where we don't have closets, a lot of my clothes are on the floor, and my husband's clothes are all over the office room. So we're a bit discombobulated, and I think that that's kind of why I'm a little stressed being on maternity leave, because I can't really like nest fully, because I can't even put away our clothes. I can't set up the baby's room till the furniture's here, so I'm just like in a little bit of limbo on that. But at least the paint got done, and so the last things are then to deliver the furniture for our bedroom and the baby's room, and then we're also painting the windows, like the white around the windows, because it's a little bit older, and we have to wait till the weather's a little bit warmer, because it's still now beginning of February, and it needs to be able to dry in these things. So home renovations moving right along. So now I will put in a bump date for 30 weeks, a picture, and move on to 31 weeks. So in my week 31, it was the last week of work. And so this week was actually a lot better, because it was a lot of just like the new person doing more and me doing less. So for the other weeks, I really was just kind of like working late every night. And in this week, I still like worked quite a bit, of course, but it also was just like a little bit of socializing too, and just saying goodbye to everyone, because I really like my coworkers, and I am quite an extrovert, and so like I legitimately look forward to going in and seeing my coworkers and talking about how their day is, and I'm definitely already missing that, and I will continue to miss that, I think. So it was a nice week of work, and then my last day was last Thursday, and so we had a little going away party, and they got me, as a going away present, this purple exercise ball, which was really nice. And they got me a chocolate mousse cake, and that was delicious, and everyone signed a card, and this was just really nice, because I think anything just to like celebrate your time there is always just really appreciated. And also, too, I had joked that I wanted to take the exercise ball that we had in the office home with me because it's good for before the baby comes, and then when baby is here, that she and I can sit and I can, bounce on the exercise ball, and maybe this soothes her and keeps her happy a bit. And then one of the dogs in the office peed on the exercise ball, and I didn't want it anymore. So then they got me this really jazzy, shiny purple exercise ball, and I love it. And I've been using it quite a bit, so that's been great. In the 31st week, also, my husband was sick. He had a man cold, which, pretty tough around the house then. But at least it was his first week not having class, too. So he could just come home after work and not feel very good. For me, then it was a little bit stressful because then I knew I was probably going to get sick, which I am now. But never as bad as the man cold. So the lady version is just not as dramatic. And I guess the really big thing in week 31 was on Friday, which is technically the first day of week 32, but still like within that week, is that I had a doctor's appointment. And let me see if I have the picture. I have to find the picture. I guess I'll insert a picture later, but there's nothing to see because this was a 32-week appointment, and it was at like the nice fancy hospital with a 3D picture, and they looked at all of her things, and all of her things looked good. All of her organs came back great, but she's breached. And I thought that she was probably breached. I felt like she was breached. The way that the kicks were, all the kicks were, I was feeling them lower, and I was feeling like a lot of pressure between my hips. And so my guess was that she was breached. And then sure enough, when they looked, she was breached. And I guess because she was breached, she had all 4 of her limbs over her face. So my picture looks like an octopus stuck in a glass jar. It just looks like tentacles. There was no sign of her face. You couldn't see it at all. It was just limbs and limbs and limbs, hands and feet and arms and legs. And it doesn't even look like a baby. And I was so disappointed in the appointment because I had told all my family we're going to get a 3D picture. We get to see her face. I had seen so many other baby faces on my baby board for Baby Center and on Instagram. And I was so excited to see if she has hair and to see if she looks like my husband and me and see if her face was squished or if she had chubby cheeks or not chubby cheeks. And then I got to see a bunch of random shapes and legs and arms. I was very disappointed. I cried a little bit afterwards. It's a little bit of hormones. And I guess I was also a little stressed too because she is breached, which means maybe a C-section, and I'm really okay with a C-section. I'm okay with it. She decides from here on out all the things. She knows when she comes, I don't, and she will decide if she's going to go heads down or be up, and whether or not she comes naturally or be a C-section. But I think I had mentioned before that at my hospital here, in most public hospitals in Vienna, that your husband doesn't stay with you at night because you birth alone in a private room with your husband and your midwife. But then in your recovery room, you're with one other person or 2 other people. And because of this, then you don't have your husband staying with you. And this is really bothers me. I don't want to be alone with the baby. I want to be doing everything together. I want my husband and the baby and me to all bond together. And I feel like you should be learning everything with me. And I was really okay with a C-section until I realized that means I'm at the hospital even longer. So here, if you have a natural birth, the day that you deliver is day 0 and you go home on day 3. So you have 3 nights in the hospital, depending. Maybe you have 2 nights in the hospital if you give birth overnight or something. Then if it's C-section, it's 5 nights in the hospital. And you can go home a little bit earlier as long as you're healthy, the baby's healthy, and your pain is managed. And then you can have your midwife come and visit you for home care. But it helps to be in the hospital because then you get fully checked and the baby gets fully checked. And so if we get a C-section, that means that she comes earlier, which means that I'm in the hospital longer without my husband. And it also means that my whole timing schedule when I have the baby to when my mom comes, because my mom is coming from America to stay with us for a month, that will also change a bit. So just some little stresses, not huge deals. The baby is healthy. We're very lucky. But yeah, it is. So we shall see. The doctor on my ultrasound said that he's not sure that she turns around, one, because it's getting later and later into the pregnancy, and something at like late 20s weeks, then they think, yeah, the baby's probably going to move. But once you get into your 30s, less likely that she's going to move. And then also the doctor said that my cord is mostly on the bottom. So there's not really like room for her to move. And that might hinder her from wanting to move or being able to move if then her cord is taking over the space that is like the bottom area of my uterus and the exit, the traditional exit. So yeah, that was that. And so that was disappointing a little bit. But, and I will put in a bump picture. All of my symptoms were pretty much the same this week. A little bit more stomach trouble, but that's it. Then in week 32, so that brings me to my most recent week. This was my first week of maternity leave. So the weekend was fine. It was nice. My husband, we took it easy because, again, this was like his first weekend without class, so we could just relax. I had met my mother-in-law actually, he did have class on Saturday. And I had met my mother-in-law for a cake and a chat, and this was super nice. And then this week was just a transition. So in Austria, you have 2 months before the baby starts. You have this, so there's two types of maternity leave. There's the 2 weeks before the baby comes and the 2 weeks after the baby comes. And then this is more like health leave, like more like short-term disability, because this is like the time that your body needs to be then getting ready for labor and recovering from labor. And it is so nice. I mean, I feel very, very lucky to be here because in these last weeks, it's just gotten a little bit more exhausting, and it would be very exhausting to go to work. And this is a very much pleasure to have time to get ready for the baby and to take time for myself. That being said, I'm not doing the best job, and it's a strange transition for me, but I feel very lucky. And then after 2 months after the baby arrives, then this is like your maternity leave, and you can take up to 3 years. And I think I'll take 2 years. I'm an American in Vienna, and I don't feel comfortable really working in German, so after 1 year, I'll start looking for work because my company will leave to go to the Netherlands while I'm on maternity leave. So it's a bit of a unique situation. So 32 weeks. On Monday, it was my first day of like real maternity leave. I guess Friday was, but I had a doctor's appointment, and Monday was like my first Monday. And so I overdid it. I did 30 minutes of cardio, and then I did an arm workout and squats, and normally this would take about, an hour and a half. And instead it took like 2.5 hours because I was just like moving slowly through, and I was pretty tired, and I was sitting on my exercise ball, and I really like overdid it, and I just didn't feel good by the end of the day because I also, after that, I went to a furniture store to look at just like some stuff for the baby's room and for our room. Then I walked to the grocery store because everything was in walking distance to the city. And then I walked home with groceries, and they were too heavy, and I really felt horrible afterwards. My stomach was tight. I didn't feel good. And so like this day was a little bit of a fail because I did too much. And then on Tuesday, I started to get my husband's cold, and so I also didn't feel so good. But excuse me. I visited with a friend of mine on Tuesday. I visited with a friend of mine on Wednesday, and then yesterday I went to work just to like visit and to answer some questions for the new person. So basically I told her that once a week I could take a call or something like this and just go over any questions she had. So it's a strange transition being home by myself. I'm like, I don't know, I'm dealing with it, and the best thing is next week, like, our furniture comes, and I can start being productive and stuff like that, but it's just been an interesting week. As far as symptoms go, horrible sleeping, probably to do with being sick, but also with the baby being bigger and, like, just being more uncomfortable. I got, like, 3 hours of sleep last night and the night before, and I'm just really, really tired. Also, my belly is getting bigger. You will see that soon. And my stomach has been like a little bit itchy, which I think it's like finally starting to stretch. I mentioned before that I have a very deep belly button, and I can like finally, I think, see the end of it. Meaning that like if I looked into it before, I couldn't see where it ended. Now I think that I can see where it ended, and like the skin on top of my belly button is really stretched. I still don't think it's gonna pop out, but some belly things are happening. So I think I'm gonna try to just like put more lotion on my belly, but it's just so hard because then it's like all sticky and stuff, and I really don't like the feeling. And I was kind of watching before that doctors say that whether or not you get stretch marks is genetic, so even if you put all the lotion on, then it doesn't really make a difference most times. And because my stomach hadn't been dry or itchy, then there's really no reason. But now that it's a bit itchy, I'll put some more on. My boobs are getting stranger looking, so there's that. And I'm sure that's just going to keep getting even more interesting as the baby comes. I finally, last time in my last video, I showed a bunch of maternity bras, and I had gotten like one more set, and they were like the shelf bra with then like a thin padding inside, and I got 3 of them, and they also came with bra extenders, and this has been helpful because I can extend my old bras, but most of the cups are too small. I like these bras. You'll see them when I do my belly shop, but the cups are a little small, and I got a large hoping that that would fit, but the cups are still a bit small, so I still don't really like maternity bras, but that's okay. And as far as, and then I had my doctor's appointment today, and I got some things too, so I'll go over my doctor's appointment then first and then show off my stuff. So I had my doctor's appointment today with my normal OB. So last week was more of like a special clinic visit with the ultrasound guy. And this time it was just with my gynecologist. She said that the baby is still breached. If she stays breached, then I should have a C-section. She got the results of my strep B test, and I have the strep B, so I have to be conscious of that if I do deliver naturally. Apparently, no matter what, when you get a C-section here, you still get the antibiotics for, I don't know if it's for strep B or if it's just like general antibiotics in case anything goes south after the procedure, but she said either way it'll be taken care of, natural or not natural, that I have to give the results to my hospital. Okay? And then during my ultrasound, she said that the baby is measuring a little bit small. So like last week we were just under 50%, and now she said we were more like in like the 20% range, which seems like a lot in a week, but I guess she also said that sometimes it's not 100% accurate because, you know, they do the measurement of the baby's head, the baby's stomach, and then the femur bone, and her ultrasound equipment is not as good as the one we had last week. So she said that in general, because the baby was a little bit smaller, she wanted to check the blood flow from the placenta. Everything looked good. And then she said that because the baby is breached and because the baby had dropped in the percentiles, even though everything was okay, she wants to see me in 2 weeks. So I'll be back in 2 weeks, where essentially she said if I continue to just have a healthy pregnancy, she would continue to only see me every 4 weeks until my due date. And then I would kind of just more so transition to my hospital and my midwife. So we shall see how that goes. I'm not too worried because I don't think worrying makes a difference. And the fact that she wants to see me more often is also good. So then next weekend we have an appointment with my midwife. Maybe she wants to do some funky stuff to try to move the baby. I think that the baby will just decide that on her own. And then in 2 weeks I'll have another doctor's appointment. So I will end on a fun note too with some baby presents. So the cleaning lady at my office got me these jazzy shoes and hair bows and a hat. Really, really sweet. And she also gave me this little outfit. It's like a little pink outfit that says love on it. And then I went baby shopping, and I feel like I shouldn't buy any more clothes until I take all the clothes out and put it away for the baby and kind of like inventory how much I have in each size. So I decided instead to get shoes because I don't have a lot of shoes. So it comes in a shoe box. And they're so cute. They're sparkly. And they have a little bow on them. So I decided to get those. Okay, well now I'll do my belly shot. So this is at 33 weeks and 1 day. Ooh, see a little pressure. I says from the front, from the side, and I'm wearing maternity leggings, so definitely got bigger, eh? And she is heads up, so she said that her head is here, her spine is here. She's got legs and arms and stuff there. And right now I'm wearing maternity gray leggings from H&M and this just like maternity dress from H&M, and it's like super comfy. And my friend who had had 2 babies in the last 2 years, she lent it to me. So 33 weeks and 0 days. And I am very healthily gaining weight. I think I'm still between like 15 and 20 pounds gained. But I have to do the conversion from kilos. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time for my next update. Bye.